My name's Hamish Martin. I'm the Customer Care Manager for IMS here at Unitec. So IMS is an abbreviation for Information Management Services.
Hi, I'm Owen Werner, the General Manager of Information Management Services here at Unitec.
So how often is technology used in everyday life? First thing I do when I wake up is I check my iPhone for all my emails. I get text messages and emails from staff, numerous times a day.
It's also interesting in which I find I have two quite young children, an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old, and how it's become intuitive to them, how they just naturally respond to technology being in their life. Again, it's just there for them. They reach for it, they have an affinity for it.
We use it a lot, whether it's in school and personal life.
Wake up, check my notifications in my iPod from then till when I go to bed. In my family we have 5 computers, but only 4 of us in my family. Yeah, 24/7.
I use technology all the time, just like most other people probably.
The positives of technology use, I think, is very much down to, real-time information, having that information readily available to you when you want it.
For a large intention, it means that with access to technology, it opens a lot more doors, it enables a lot more activity to take place.
It allows us to be more connected, more informed. You have instant access to information, which we did not have in the past.
I'll be doing my assignments and I won't know something, so I'll just ask people through the internet and I'll pretty much get my answer straight away instead of having to actually talk to them in person.
It keeps everybody connected, with phones and internet and social media.
The negatives of technology, it takes the personal interaction out of a lot of communication.
The other negative downside to it is, even though I've previously talked how I engage with technology 24/7, I see that for me it's a positive. It means I'm connected, I'm engaged. It can actually be a negative. You don't know when to turn off. You're always on, you're always engaged.
Now I even fall into this trap. I have staff that are seated 10, 15 feet from me outside of my office, and I'll email them as opposed to getting out of my chair.
You can easily be addicted to your phone. It's a device that you form a personal connection with, and the problem is whether you relate to your phone more than an actual person around you.
Right, you'll be at a nice place and you're all just sitting there like this.
People spend so much more time looking at their smartphones rather than looking at each other or talking to each other in person. The actual personal stuff of communicating is dying because of technology.
So how could the negatives be prevented? And I think it is really down to people making a conscious effort to try and have more face-to-face communication.
All this technology we have, it's just an illusion. Community, companionship, a sense of inclusion. Yet when you step away from this device of delusion, you awaken to see a world of confusion.
It's just something that everything is. I think people just have to take a conscious effort to realise that they have to work differently.
Definitely moderation. It's all just self-control, basically. That's what it comes down to.
It's always being upgraded. There's always new things to get. There's no way to get rid of it. It's always being built on.
I think there's no possible way because you can't convince everyone to put down their phones and actually go to each other's houses and talk.
So when you're in public and you start to feel alone, put your hands behind your head, step away from the phone. You don't need to stare at your menu or at your contact list. Just talk to one another. Learn to coexist.
So the internet and how it's impacted the use of technology, I think I think the internet's such a powerful tool, and sometimes that's actually a very good first port of call. Google it.
It introduces new elements and services to us that we never knew existed in the past. The rate of change is phenomenal in the environment and what we have to do.
It made a very big change into the uses where you can use computers for.
So there's not many devices these days that don't have internet use on it. Like even Game Boys, they can connect to the internet. The internet, makes everything easier. You're highly more likely to actually be using your smartphone if you can do stuff on the internet with it, rather than just play games or something.
And social networking sites, which brings people together using the internet, like Facebook and
Tumblr,
MySpace, Twitter.
I am a complete prisoner of social networking because we've all got Facebook and we used to have MySpace and Bebo.
And of course lately you've got the latest social networks, whether that be Instagram or
YouTube and Snapchat.
Snapchat. Yep, that's one of those things.
I mainly use it for communication, obviously.
Which brings people together using the internet.
The fact that your peers are now a source of information rather than having to go to dictionaries or anything else.
So the importance of technology in future generations, given the advances I think that I've seen in the last 10 years, I think anything's possible. The likes of having a big laptop like this that I've got is going to go. There probably won't be a desk phone on my desk in another 10 years' time.
I mean, they're already talking about this generation being the digital native generation. And within that, it just gives you the indication that people are going to be growing up with the technology. It's going to be part of their everyday life. It's going to be one of those elements which is just expected in everything that they do.
Whether that's a good thing or not remains to be seen, but I think it's just the way our lives have evolved, that we're actually evolving around technology in some aspects.
So I don't think technology will be treated as something different in the future. I think it'll just be embedded and incorporated into everything that we do.
I definitely think eventually we are progressing towards wearable technology, whether that be watches, rings, Google Glasses.
Already we have 8-year-olds with their own iPads and stuff like that.
That could come a lot way. I mean, it's pretty premature these days.
Even when you're paying to go on the train, you're using electronic devices like the hot cards. Technology is just going to continue to grow in the future. It's going to continue to take over the minds of younger generations.
The technology is always developing, and I think there'll be always new uses for it, and as we grow up and there's a new generation, we'll become more reliant and these things will become more prominent within our lives.